The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
And coach was the only time I've ever hated my life.
That's exhausting, man.
No, it was the worst. I remember my wife was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I am not. I am not a human being." And then we moved and we started teaching. I was been back to PE. I went back to normal. It was just, I don't know how normal human being teacher people can teach an actual subject and coach. I think that's why I can coach three sports is because I'm not going home grading. PE, you get graded right there. I do my grading in class, so
I'm not gonna lie. Things I don't miss, it might be bigger pressure because I got to make sure everyone's doing their job, but I don't have to do report cards anymore. I don't have to do lesson plans anymore. I don't have to be in parent conferences anymore. I'm like, this is tight. I'll take that over teaching any day.
Man, yeah, it's just crazy.
Oh, you push live.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta capture the magic behind the scenes.
You wiry f***s.
I noticed that a long time ago. I was we've been live.
it's the thing because so I split my screen. So I have on this half, the left hand side is the Google screen. Yeah. The other half I have my show notes. Because I went back to old podcasts and when I put it on the left monitor, I'm talking to Deb and looking over here.
Yeah.
I was like, man, it looks like I'm not paying attention to anybody, which is not true.
It's why is he staring off into the distance? Not
even he's the worst host ever.
I was like,
so unorganized.
Ooh.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Speaking
I've got
of
to do a
unorganized,
monitor setup going.
Kevin. I worry about that guy.
What's going on?
He keeps trying to lie to people and be like, I'm Kevin. And then he's like, oh, but that's Justin. Totally a different person. It's come to we just need to stop trying to hide the fact. And he just needs to come out and be Kevin is Justin. Justin is Kevin. Let's admit the facts.
Especially too, there was that one thread going on the other day. And then all of a sudden there was the random Justin tweet in the middle. And I was like, you went from the wrong account, man.
Yeah, it's common sense.
Right. I was like, that was a slip of the finger, nah.
I worry about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Kev Hive is there's a lot of them. He needs to just go ahead and just own up to it and just
exactly
with the same person. I'm sorry, I'm living a lie. And just
I mean, we all knew who Chris Gaines was right from the get go.
Yeah.
So.
That's perfect. That's a perfect time for me to intro this. All right, I made the cough noise and we start the show. I hope you enjoy editing that, big guy.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello, family. Welcome to PSVG episode number 48. I'm 93% sure that's right, which is going to make Kevin super jacked when he puts it in the show. I'm your host, Coach Mo, and I'm here with my best buddy, Dev Atias. Dev, how you doing?
I'm chilling like a villain, trying not to do no.
And joining us as our second host, post the relaunch of us actually showing up to be here on time and doing this regularly, is our dude, Chaufie. Chaufie, what is up, my man?
What's good? I'm just out here in the West Coast. The blessed coast ain't too stressed.
West Coast.
You know it. Well, get out. We're here.
I miss West Coast AM football. I know that's the one thing that I miss is when you wake up, you're like, oh man, I'm rolling to bed, you grab your cereal and there's football on at 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. There's nothing like it.
You could have breakfast, brunch, and 2 games before you've even really started your day. That's the thing. That's real.
It's phenomenal.
Sports on the West Coast, period, is great because I'm not up till 2 a.m. trying to watch a game.
Right. I do think about that when there's a Lakers game on and I'm like, oh, I feel bad for you East Coast, New Yorkers, and they want to see a game. And I'm like, oh, this game ended at 10. And then when I really do the numbers, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, real talk.
So a couple years ago, the Portland Trailblazers made the NBA final, not finals, Western second round or first round. And they were playing against, I believe it was Dallas, with an injured Brandon Roy, who came in and brought us back from an elimination game. And I remember it's like 2 a.m. and I'm over here going nuts. Ooh. And I have to be up at 6, like the next day. But it was worth it to stay up late cheering for Brandon back in the day when he was repping that Rip City. I miss that guy.
Oh, man, talking about a career cut short, dude. He was so good.
He was something else, man. That jump shot and the way he got to the basket, the way he played. He actually was a 2-guard to play defense. There aren't a lot of those in the NBA.
Yeah, he was a complete package, and then he got robbed of his knees. Sucks.
Now we are a storytelling podcast. We're here to share our stories, our relationships, and get to know the family better. And we do that by getting awesome stories from you guys and opening up about our personal lives. And so our topic for today is one that literally happened to me today. We were going to do a more serious spinoff of the last show, but then I heard that Chaufie was going to be in. I was like, he wasn't. I want to make sure he had time to be planned because that was our most serious topic. We got a lot of love from that one. Our girl Shy, she actually took pictures of the MLK walk she was doing and sent them to me, and then heard the show the next day. And I was like, that's my kid. That's what we're talking about. And so, but I wanted to do this other one, and I had a plan for it, but it wasn't going to go this way. So here it is. We're going to talk about our most unaware binge, like a show or a movie that you started binge watching, not knowing you were going to be binge watching it.
Okay, I'm going to go first if you don't mind.
Oh, go right ahead.
Take it away.
Love that.
Take it away.
This is an OT first.
Right on the
OT first. I love it.
Number one, I'm recognizing that you curveball yourself on topics, so let's just
all the time.
But just right out the gate, put it out in front. I am a hardcore contrarian. If it's popular and people love it, I hate it. I'm not watching it. No way, no how, no nah. Don't give me that. I don't do that. So
that is so true. Oh my God.
So that's just me. I put it out there, and then eventually, low key, I'm like, no, but it is pretty tight. So, major regular network T stuff like that. No, I really do try to find stuff left of the dial, high end on the channels. My show is the Goldbergs. I watched one episode of the Goldbergs because I used to. And here's the contrast is that when it first started airing, I was teaching in Compton. And so when I would be leaving Compton, I would see the billboard of the Goldbergs where they were all in their matching sweaters. And I was like, ugh, America. It was opposite of what I was living. And so then a few years later, I found out that the mom in the Goldbergs is born and raised Long Beach, still lives in Long Beach. I think she was on the Nerdist, and he was like, "Oh, gross! Why would you commute from Long Beach to, Hollywood to film this show?" And she was like, "Have you ever been to Long Beach? It's the best city." And I was like, "That's my girl." If you don't know, I live in Long Beach, so there you go. But so I was like, "Let me just check out this show," and then I fell in love with it because it is 80s, 90s nostalgia. If you were a kid and you grew up in that era, you can tell that every episode is a love letter. And so after I went with one, and it is the corniest of comedy. It's, it has its heartfelt moments. It has all that stuff. And I was like, and for me being the, like I said, I'm a contrarian. I'm like, I'm not go for this. Oh man, it hooked me in. And it's every character, it's I want the mom to be my mom. The dad reminds me of my dad. I didn't have any brothers, but I was like, oh, if I had a brother, he'd probably be a jerk like that one. It was just a really good show. And so I binge watched the first seasons, and it was all over a winter break. And my wife was like, why do you watch this show? And I was like, I don't know. I do not know why I'm watching this show. It's everything I'm against. It's everything I don't like. And I was just hooked. Now I let the scenes pile up. And then when it is another vacation, because I don't want to be left hanging. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to watch them in big blocks and just binge watch it every time. And man, so this winter break, I got all caught up. I went through another season. I was like, Goldbergs, man, I don't know what it is. That show is magic, but I highly recommend it. And especially for guys not even guys, like people like us who are into sort of nerd culture and pop culture, it's a must watch because it hits like Thundercats, it hits Knight Rider, it hits old like sports events, like it hits all those things where you're just like the last one they did was like Live Aid or something like that. And I'm like,
wow.
I remember living in that era, like it was.
Chaufie's old.
Yeah, that's true too. I am old. Like these guys are babies, so it's a really.
I'm like 3 years younger than you. Stop it.
How old are you, man?
I'm 37.
You ain't too younger.
I thought you were like 40.
I'm 43, bro.
40? Nah, so that's lies, fallacies. You're 40. Stop it.
I've never been the youngest one on the podcast before. I guess this is normal. This is cool.
Yeah, you guys are.
You're
babies.
always the youngest one on this podcast, Mo.
I know, but like that's like you're like a rock throws older than me though.
So, anyways, that's it for me. But yeah, there's a lot of shows that I've ended up binge watching along the way.
I tried the Goldbergs, but found out it was a lie and never watched another one. See, I thought it was based off of the second best Mighty Ducks goalie. And no, I'm 100% serious. I thought it was going to be based off him, because when you like see it, you see like these bigger people, like these larger family. I'm like, oh, it's going to be about my dude Goldberg, man. Goldie was the dude. Again, second best Mighty Ducks goalie. Cat will always be number one. I don't. Anybody wants to knock with that, I'll throw hands. Cat was the one, but Goldberg was a good backup. He was suitable. But yeah, so I watched it. I was like, this isn't about hockey. I'm not watching this.
How about the Flyers, though? So, I mean, kind of.
True. All right. Dev, do you want to go? You want me to go?
I'll go. I mean,
right. I'm going last in a topic. This is awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So, like,
get it, Dev.
the show that I started binge watching that I was not expecting to binge watch at all because it's just outside of my wheelhouse was the Hill House or whatever. The Hill House thing that was on Netflix. The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
So I don't like scary at all. I can't sit through scary stuff. I start having dreams and nightmares, and this is all bad.
It all gets in your head.
Yeah, man, for real. Like it just doesn't work well for me. But this show, it just had so many moving parts and so many different plots and things going on with each of the individual children. And then also the dad and the mom. It was just so much going on that it just wrapped me right in. Like for me, shows that have lots of stuff going on, like a Game of Thrones, for example, there's like 14 different plot lines, 13 different stories going on all at once. That's the kind of show that like draws me in. So when I started watching the Haunting of Hill House with my wife, like it just drew me in, and I was like, let's keep going. Like I almost wanted to watch the entire season in one day because I just wanted to know what was going to happen. I was going to want to see how all the different threads were going to tie into each other. But like I said, for the most part, I don't like scary stuff, but that show was more, I would say, of a thriller than it was scary. So it was a lot easier for me not to like be like, I can't watch this. So it was just really nice to be able to get into something that way outside of like my normal stuff. Like usually if it's not like sci-fi or Marvel, I'm not paying any attention to it. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool to watch something outside of my wheelhouse that my wife also enjoyed and was just able to just get down with it. Like it was really cool. And I hope they do a season 2 because that show was so good.
And you bring up a really tough point too, is one that you can watch with your wife. Like a lot of shows, so like my wife won't watch Goldbergs with me, but it has to be like a very specific type of show for both of us to watch together. I'll be pretty flexible, but she's like she doesn't do scary stuff, or if it's like ultra tense, just like, because that's chill time, Yeah. So it's like, I don't want to see anything too heavy, too tough, like from her perspective. So when we do find something to watch together, it sucks when a season is over or you can't like binge watch it or something like that, because then it's like, okay, what else are we gonna watch?
Yeah, we have the same problem. Like the only 2 shows that we've ever actually like sat down and watched together that aren't Seinfeld or The Simpsons have been Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead. And we gave up on The Walking Dead a long time ago because it felt like the story just wasn't going anywhere. I was just tired of my favorite characters getting killed off for no reason. And we just stopped watching. And then Game of Thrones just had this ridiculously long break. So and then when the last season, so I was like, okay, what are we gonna watch together now? Because my wife is the same way. Like she wants to watch like Real Housewives and Teen Mom and all of this stuff. So I'm like, I'll sit here and watch it with you. Just
so we need to work out is somehow you live next door to me, They can watch those two together. We can watch other stuff, and like everyone's happy because
I mean,
it makes sense to me.
it makes perfect sense. And then our
Yeah.
kids can play together, and
Yeah.
they won't be bothering us, and we can
Yeah.
go play some video games.
That's
You know
a
what I'm saying?
win-win. That's a, you know what? Good slam dunk.
I'm moving along, Beach.
I like this. I like this plan.
See, Mo, come on, you can do this.
Yeah. Now, a little insight to the OT and how we prep these is when I get an idea, I make a little a header for it, and I throw the idea in there, and then as I get questions, I fill it into that sheet until we pull it and use it. And so I got the idea for this one actually about 2 weeks ago, and so when I was pulling it up, I was like, "This has changed in today." If we would have done this at any other time before today, my answer would have been The Good Place with my girl, Kirsten Bell. That is one of the funniest shows ever. Like,
Okay,
I literally
thinking about that show. Sell me on it.
I can't sell on you because it's not the answer right now. I have to be honest. The show that I binged unaware was the remake of Gilmore Girls. My wife and I ordered pizza at 4:30 today. It showed up at about 5. Thank you, Papa John's. I appreciate you. And we have a gift card, and we used it to get some barbecue, pineapple, onion, bacon pizza. And I sat down, ate my slice, and my wife goes, "I'm going to turn on the TV. Is that fine?" I go, "Not a problem. I'll eat my slice, then go play a video game." I haven't played games in 2 weeks with all the things that are going on with me. And so I was like, I'm gonna go get some gaming time in. And she plays this first episode of the Gilmore Girls. And I go, "Oh, who's that? Oh, I remember that guy." Because I've seen a couple through her. We watched 3.5 hours of Gilmore Girls through this remake today. And when we're done, I'm going to go finish it upstairs with my wife. I'm going to finish it. And I just
Kevin and Kyle are going to be so proud of you.
Yeah, man, that's that's the show they like, right? It's that one?
I believe so, yes.
And it's just funny to me because never would I thought I would have watched 3 hours of Gilmore Girls, but I'm sitting there with my beautiful dog Daisy and our puppy Bear and my wife, and we're all on the couch and cuddled up with a blanket, and I'm getting up and getting pizza, and I'm refilling my grape drink, and we're just enjoying this 4-hour veg session of a show that the only character I really like is the Luke, the boyfriend. He's hilarious. He's akin to my own spirit. I get that guy. And I'm some of it I don't like, some of it was boring, and some of the times I've pulled my phone out and was playing some Clash of Clans. But at the same time, I did just watch 3 hours of Gilmore Girls with my wife, and it was just a good day. It was a relaxing, awesome Saturday. And my wife and I have watched a lot of shows together. I actually turned her on to her favorite show. When we first got married, I was like, "Hey, because I'm always at work or practice or doing this, I wanted you to have something you could do when you were bored." So I bought her Friends. She's like, "What's Friends?" And I go, "It's this really crappy remake of Living Single." And so,
wow.
no, I'm telling you guys, that's exactly how I sold it. It's a fact.
FATS.
Yeah. And I was like, I love Living Single, but I only have season 1 and 2 because back then, for some reason, they didn't put 3 out on the box set. Why? Because 3 was not a good season. That was a rough year. A lot of things happened. The writers left, people left the show, but I was like, Friends is basically stole their ideas and remade it with white people. It's fine. And so I bought her the first 5 seasons of Friends. Then she got hooked on Friends, hardcore hooked. And then we watched Scrubs together. And we've watched Scrubs. One of my favorite ones back in the day was the first season of Burn Notice. Was really good, only because the lady on it was Irish, and she had a really, really good Galloway accent. And so like we've always had shows that we connected on. And this one, like, even though like I didn't directly connect to the source material, we still had a good time watching. Like I'm really excited to go curl back up in our little blanket fort and go back to watching this however many hours are left and spend the evening with my wifey. So yeah, just super unaware of it. But after we're done, I'll talk about how great The Good Place is. That is a phenomenal show.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it.
Dude, okay. The Good Place. All right, I'm just gonna do it now.
Yeah, go.
The Good Place. Basically, the premise is these 4 people end up going to the good place after they die, basically heaven. And a lot of things happen. They go on this roller coaster of the afterlife. But Kirsten Bell is so funny in it. Like, it's basically, Dev, her relationship with her his name's Chibi in the show. Their relationship together is you and me if we were heterosexual life mates. Like if we were, no, like if I was a chick and you were a dude and we were like together.
Who said
because like Kirsten Bell is very just like self-aware. She's like, man, I'm a smoking hottie. Like she refers to herself in the third person all the time. And like it's always like getting me. And the characters are hilarious. And the writing is phenomenal. The people who made it were the same people who made The Office and Parks and Rec.
Oh wow.
But I think the comedy's better. I believe. Now, I never liked The Office. That was never for me. Parks and Rec had some really funny moments. But I really love it. I think it's just one of the funniest shows on. If you get a chance to watch, they're on Netflix, I believe, seasons 1 and 2.
Yeah.
2 weekends ago, we watched season 1 and 2 in like 2 days. We went and bought season 3 and it downloads straight to the Xbox and we watch them. And now we're all caught up. And so now every Thursday we're watching it. We just finished the season finale. So great show. Really.
I knew the finale came up and a lot of people have been talking about it. And it's one of those shows that when someone mentions it, I'm like, is this a new show? Like, did this just start this year? And then I realized that there's multiple seasons of it.
Yeah.
Like, it just was never on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw people saying, like, oh, the finale happened. And I was like, it's what? Like, it already finished the season? I thought it started, like, last week.
Yeah, and it's a smaller season. I don't think it's like a 20-episode season either.
13.
I think they're like 13 or 12, something like that. But it's really good.
I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, it's got 3 seasons, started in 2016. It's only 38 episodes total for all the episodes. And yeah, as soon as I Googled it, it was like The Good Place lands up, punch to the gut in the season 3 finale. I'm like, I've never heard of this show.
I'm telling you, man, it is worth the watch.
Yeah.
Now, we have 4 questions. I'm pretty jacked. I didn't have the names for 2 of them. One is from our girl Shy. I'm really excited to see Dev's answer to this one. But the first one is from our buddy Mark. And Mark wants to know, have you ever owned a system more than once and why? And this came from a debate we were having about Donnie having his 14th Vita. So congratulations, Donnie, on picking up your 14th Vita. You have now helped sell more than half of the Vitas sold worldwide. Way to go, big guy.
Man, so, I'll go first.
Go ahead, big
guy. No, I have not had, unless you count the NES or the SNES Classic. I've never owned a system more than once, mainly because I don't get rid of my systems. I'm more of a collector. So I still have my original Nintendo, my original SNES, my Genesis, my N64. I've got my Game Boy Advance, the SP. I got rid of the original Game Boy Advance. I gave that to a friend because I had the backlit SP, so I need the original one. And my original Game Boy was stolen. So that may be one that I actually own twice because I do want to go and find one and just complete the collection, but still got my PS. Oh, actually, yes. I do have 2 PlayStation 1s because the original one, like the launch day, that one died. And the move-in day of sophomore year of college, we were trying to play Madden. Like all my boys that came out, moved me in and everything. We were trying to play Madden. So I had to get rid of it. It wasn't working. So I had to go get another system. So I went down the street to Best Buy and bought another PS1. So yeah, that's the only system that I've actually owned more than once. Now it's because it died. So other than that, just the one system, and I still have them all cataloged somewhere in a box.
Hey, see, on my end, well, first, because you had mentioned wanting to get a original Game Boy, I highly recommend going on the using the Let Go app because people are selling them like legit. Like you can cop one for like $30. Like I think people just don't know the value of what they have, and so it's like stuff is coming through real quick, real easy. I just picked up a Dreamcast with the video memory card, a controller, $25, and I was like, that's not a bad deal.
That's really good.
So it's my second Dreamcast. My first Dreamcast was a gift, so I didn't buy it. I bought 2 PS3s, but it's kind of one of those things like the first one broke, like it burned out. So to keep it going, I've had 2 PlayStation 4s.
Oh God, I have 2 of them as well.
Yeah, because I had the launch, and then I wanted a white Destiny one that was a Pro, so I upgraded.
I have the same thing.
Yeah. I have 2 Xboxes because this is like my wife still is like, I don't get it, but maybe you guys will understand this logic. I moved my original Xbox One to the back room I'm in right now because my son plays Fortnite. And if you've ever heard a young child play video games, they don't understand voice volume control, just loud and yelling the whole time. So he plays in the back by himself, and we don't hear him screaming in the house. But then on our entertainment center, you see that there's the white PlayStation 4, there's like our cable DirecTV box, and then there's an empty hole. What am I going to do with that empty hole? Guys, what am I going to do?
I would put an Xbox in there.
Put a system in. I mean, yeah. Why not?
And if I have a white PS4, shouldn't I put the white Xbox One in there?
Well, that's just color coordinating. That totally makes sense.
You put the black one to balance it out.
No, because everything's white. Actually, because it goes white, black in the middle, then white on the side. Now it's balanced.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was off. It was off balance. But especially just seeing a hole there with two cords, I was like, come on.
Gotta get that feng shui, man.
Exactly. So now everything's nice and balanced. And I copped it on a Black Friday deal. Like, all in all, I think the thing only came out to like $75. So I was fine with it. But other than that, I've never I'll buy and sell games, but I haven't really ever only time I ever really get a console is, if it's like a purpose like that. But I will say this, I have purchased Overwatch 3 times. As the first time I bought
on the same system or just on 3 different systems?
On the same system. Like I bought it when it first came out, and then I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun. After playing the demo, and I was like, this game sucks. I don't want it. And then I got rid of it. And then I bought it on disc again for dirt cheap, and I was like, and I stopped playing it. And then I got hooked again, and then it was on sale for digital, so I bought it digitally, and then sold the physical copy for the same amount I bought it digitally. So it was straight across.
Nice. Now,
but I'm not like Donnie. No, I did not buy 17 Vitas.
514 Vitas and 37 Nintendo 3DSs.
And he just sold it
7 Wii U's.
I was like, just because you didn't play it for 3 days, chill.
If a system that's not a Nintendo system sits and collects dust for a week, he's got to sell it. He just can't. He can't have it in his house.
I was like, you got some compulsive disorder, man. You need to chill.
I could take this question 2 ways. If we take this as just straight boughten, I've bought 7 Xbox One X. We have 5 in the house right now. We have 1 here in my game room. We have 1 in the living room. We have 1 in the other game room. We have 1 in the bedroom. We have 1 in the guest room. And I bought 2 other ones that I've given out as gifts. 1 to a former student and 1 to he's my assistant linebacker. He's my linebacker coach here. Really good buddy. And we blessed him with an Xbox for Christmas. But if we're talking boughten, gotten rid of, and picked back up, my PS4 and my Switch are tied at 4. I bought the PS4 at launch, platinumed Resogun, didn't like the other games, traded it in. Then we bought another one. Lacey played that one the most, and my buddy LaRon, and then it collected dust, traded it in. Then we bought one. What was the one that launched with the girl with the red hair? The one that the game Josh loves. Yes, we bought one. We bought one again for Horizon. Collected dust, traded it back in. Then we bought one. Lacey got one on her own. That one, I'm not going to count that one. And then I traded it for the PS4 Pro that we still have. That I'm constantly telling Dev should I keep this around? I barely touch it. I am trying to play more PS4 this year. So far, I've yet to turn it on in 20, but I'm trying to play more. I promise. I know that doesn't sound right, but I haven't played Madden in probably the last week and a half. That's how little gaming I've done.
Now I understand life gets in the way.
Yeah.
But did you play Spider-Man God of War?
He doesn't. Oh man.
I tried both, and
I did hear this. You know what?
Yeah. I really. If God of War, the little kid wasn't so annoying. Yeah. Oh God, that kid. I probably would have been able to stick with it. And Spider-Man was fine. It's just more Spider-Man. We actually talked about SLT. I went and bought Spider-Man that came out in 2015 for the Xbox One, and they play the exact same, and just one's prettier.
I remember that.
So it's just not for me. So yeah, my Switch, on the other hand, I've also done the same thing, except I've bought them for other people, or I've traded in or donated it to a cause. Like I had a Switch and I gave it to a student whose was stolen. And then I bought myself another one. It was a couple months later when something came out that I wanted. So I would probably say the PS4 and Switch are tied. It's probably at 4 apiece.
But don't you also have $10,000 in GameStop credit? So
I do.
I know, right?
I think
he actually owns a GameStop all by himself.
Are you part of the GameStop acquisition?
I wish. If I could, I would totally run a GameStop
You're just gonna
again
call it
because
No
stops. Because the reason my GameStops, like the ones that I go to normally are doing so well is because I'm really big on finding the ones with the best customer service, and so I don't go to one unless they have that. And I feel like most people just go to the one that's closest to them. And for me, no, if I don't trust them, then I go find another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So our next one, what was your favorite night of the week so far in this school year? When this question was posed, I believe it was in like October. So like, we get the questions, I throw them up and we save them and they kind of get put into little folders and it's a good system.
Are we talking Monday through
through Sunday?
Like,
what is
Are we saying back to school night?
I think we're saying like Monday through Sunday. So during your work week, what is that normal day that pops up that's like, if I get to this day, I know it's going to be a blessing. Like I know it's going to be the good one. Okay. So for me right now, it's Thursdays. Thursdays are just always great for me. Before the playoffs, we had Thursday Night Football, which is to this day still one of my favorite ways to watch football is on a Thursday, just because it gives you so much to talk about that following Friday morning. But right now, the reason I like it so much is my wife's been making this delicious spicy chicken meal, and we watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine followed by The Good Place over there on NBC. And so it's been just really fun to get to watch those on Thursdays and spend time together. So I really enjoy my Thursday right now. So Chauf, how about you, man? What's your favorite day of the week right now?
My favorite day of the week is also Thursday. Cause it's like Friday, Monday through Thursday is like, it's button up shirt, it's tie, it's stuffy, it's business, stuff like that. Fridays rarely have a meeting. I get to cruise in like jeans, t-shirt, my Vans. I'm good. And it just changes the air around campus too. Cause it's like, that casual Friday vibe, but a close runner up is Tuesday. Specifically Tuesday evening, because I don't know what it is, but once I get home, Tuesday's trash day. When I get home and I pull those trash cans back in the house, it makes the week feel faster for some reason. And so it's just like, cause then the next day is Wednesday and Wednesday's already hump day and it's our staff meeting day. So it's already a minimum day. So it's just like, it's downhill from there, So that's why Thursday is like my go-to with like, they're more 1A, 1B, than anything else.
Dev, how about you, bud?
Man, it's Friday. Like Friday is always, I don't work in higher ed. I'm not dealing with kids, man. It's Friday. Like, why y'all playing?
Friday is normally my most stressful night. Friday Night Football.
I mean, I get it.
And I coach in a sport that if you don't win right away, you don't have a job much longer.
Yeah.
I understand.
You got pressure.
Yeah, Friday's a tough night.
Yeah, you see, and I don't like Fridays either because I sit in that LA traffic on the way home. And so most days on the way home, my drive is like 45 minutes. Fridays, nothing less than an hour and a half. So
you might need to move to Bakersfield. We don't have. That's the one thing I do not miss about it.
It's a bad feed right now. You said some crazy stuff that it broke apart.
That's uncalled for.
Wow.
Uncalled for. It's supposed to be the West Coast.
I really would love to. It's so choppy. So choppy. Can't hear anything.
He's going to make me come out to Long Beach and hurt him. That's what's going to happen.
Wow. Now OT, bad feed, and they lie on this show, man. This is terrible. Wow.
All right.
How do you promote this?
Next question. Our next question from Shy, and this is one of my favorite ones that she ever gave us. Like this one made my heart like just pitter patter when I read it. Space Jam remake, yes or no, and why?
Oh,
right. That's why she's my kid, man. Oh, we love that kid.
Oh, that's such a tough one. Like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that could be cool, Get a nice little fresh take on the Monstars, have LeBron do it or something. But in my mind, it's like, nah. In my heart is like, nah, man, leave it alone. Like, do we have to remake everything? Space Jam is just golden. Like, you don't need to redo that. You got Bill Murray, you got the Monstars, you got Jordan. It's just, it's at that perfect place in basketball history when things were just real, real good. Like that era of basketball for me is probably still my favorite.
It's untouchable.
I'm saying, so it's like, we
It's
don't
kinda
need to
like
remake it.
yeah, it's like when people say like like the hip hop golden era. So you can't compete, and I think the same. I think that stands true for that NBA era. It was like it was magic. There was just so much going on.
Yeah.
It was like it was everywhere.
It was before we had the buddy league. You wanted to beat like the dude who was good. Charles Barkley didn't want to team up with Jordan. He wanted to beat Jordan. Bird didn't want to play with Magic. He wanted to beat him. Now it's like, we got the free agency. I understand it's a player driven league, and it's like, oh, let's team up and let's just run the league. Let's just beat everybody. Yeah, I mean, that's cool, but I'm way more competitive. I want to beat you. I don't want to like you the enemy. That's
wasn't about 3-pointers.
You preach to the choir, man. You preach to the choir. I take it to the hole. Go hard or don't come at all.
Right. Exactly. Catch an elbow too. Catch an elbow.
I'm saying, like, look. Let me throw a blow right quick. I remember when they used to actually be able to throw blows in a game, and it would just keep playing like it did. Like it didn't stop the game. Nobody was getting thrown out. He wasn't clearing the bench. You had a blow thrown at you. You had a blow thrown at you. You just kept playing. Like, look, it is what it is. You might get thrown into a chair later on. It's whatever. We're good.
This is how I became originally a New York Knicks fan.
Because
of the aggressive gameplay. I mean, they didn't score for nothing. They lose all the time. But it was in that era of they still were in that grind. Like they played hard. You got to get
Anthony Mason was going to hurt you all game long. Like you knew
Anthony Mason was playing the wrong sport. If Anthony Mason would have went and played defensive end or middle linebacker for an NFL team, he would have had like a 35 sack season.
Who was their other dude on there too that just got
Charles
from the arena? Charles Oakley.
Yeah, man. Like you knew when you played the Knicks, you was gonna get beat up.
Yeah,
and then you had to deal with Ewing. He was gonna score. He was gonna play D. Starks was gonna be streaky. Mark Jackson was gonna do his thing. Like you knew when you was playing the Knicks, it was gonna be a slog. I miss that.
Teams we don't hear about anymore. I mean, like. When you used to talk about like the Suns and the Jazz and like going to Detroit and having a battle, like it wasn't just divided between like two teams like it is now. It's just like, nah, you were going to fight your way across the league to the championship, not just as long as we get through Curry or we get through LeBron, we're good. It's like, no. It was, you were going to fight. You earned that ring big time.
Yep.
But I know that's a huge sidestep.
I know we totally took it left.
So Shy, that's 2 no's. Well, you're gonna get a yes from me, but I want it done this way.
I didn't answer. What are you talking about?
I thought you said no.
We were just talking
about Golden Age. My bad. So go ahead, Chauf. Remake, yes or no?
No, okay. No, to be honest, when Space Jam came out, because I am older than you guys, like it was an era when I wasn't like, you got to also keep this in mind too. Like in this, I didn't really start like going to the movies or watching movies until like 2000. Because it was just like, I was always out. Like I was skateboarding. I was out doing stuff kind of like Mo has said in like different shows. Like I wasn't really home watching cartoons and stuff like that. Like for me, I was watching cartoons, but once the cartoons were done, I was out the door. And then I'm sure you guys can sympathize with this. Like growing up poor, like I didn't have money for movie tickets. So when I wanted to get to the movies, I saw maybe one movie a year, and that's because I used my birthday money. So it was like I didn't really do that. Space Jam. Quick fact. The gym is the Cal State Long Beach Pyramid, just right behind my house right here. So shout out to Long Beach again. It's coming up in this episode. Thank you. But I think people are going to get burned by nostalgia, to be honest, because it really does hold a special place in people's hearts. And when you try to go back to that well, sometimes it doesn't work. Kind of like the Jumanji thing. Like, I'm glad that The Rock's Jumanji is distinctly different.
Oh yeah, that was a good. That was a good movie. I don't care what anyone says.
No, I loved it.
But it's not even the same. It's such a
but you know what I'm saying? Because if they would have tried to do Robin Williams Jumanji, it's a wrap. I'm burning down studios left and right. It's a riot. But the fact that they flipped the script, updated a little, kind of put them in it as opposed to the game coming to them, that was the right move. If they try to remake Space Jam in the same vein, it's not going to work. Plus, it's a different era. Like, you can't get away with the same humor. it's going to be different. It's going to be hard to create magic again. It's kind of like Destiny 1 was amazing. Destiny 2 is not good.
See, Chaufie, now we got a bad feed. I think something's going down in Long Beach. They must have lost power. Might have been a fire or a riot or something. I don't know, but I don't know what Chaufie just said. We have to cut him loose. Real quick.
I'm tearing up. That was awesome. I didn't even see that one coming. I'm sorry, Dad. That's messed up.
From the guy who's like, we need the play so you can run me through a raid. No. Get out of here, Chief.
Fire. Hey, you knew what it was when you had me on.
Oh, man. Shy, for me, it's a yes, but it has to be done this way. I need it to intro with Russell Westbrook sitting on the court after losing to the Golden State Warriors in 4 in the Western Conference Finals. And as he's watching the Golden State Warriors with that Fab Five that they have, that dominant group led by our dude Steph, Kevin Durant, Clay, Draymond Green, and of course Boogie. And he's just sitting there dejected and just hurting. And Michael Jordan walks up and puts a hand on his shoulder and says, I got just the thing for you. And you see Russell Westbrook go with him. And they end up going in the end. He has Russ help the Looney Tunes in another battle. Not like the we're going to make you slaves on our planet battle, but something eerily, similar in their world, helping them become, family or relevant or whatever. And it's about Russ growing up. And then it gets to eventually him playing that first game of the season the next year against that same Golden State squad and him leading his team to a victory. That's the remake I want to see. That's the remake that I'm going to sit there going, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Because the only person in the NBA who is a dog like Jordan is my dude, Russell Westbrook. Everybody else wants to be buddies and hold hands and go skipping and dancing and go out to the clubs after the game. But Russ wants to put the fork in you. He wants to finish you. And I love him for it. And I think he's the perfect guy to take on that same role that Jordan. So that's my Space Jam remix, and I'm down for it. I'll buy all the tickets. I'll go to it.
You're going to have to make that movie yourself, because that's absolutely what's not going to happen if they remake Space Jam.
But wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be a great movie?
No. I'm going to have to.
I'm glad you said it. I didn't want to break his heart.
Mainly because Jordan, while yes, he has that, like he's out for blood, he also had that persona that was way more likable. I feel like Russ is the head of the Monstars. Yeah, like
I don't see. I love Russ. I don't know what
I love him too. That's my guy. Probably my favorite player in the NBA.
Was like Russ was going to go Monstars, and then someone else was going to have to be on the Looney Tunes side, being like, "It's on now." Here, this is an epic space battle, like Courts on the Moon type of thing. You know.
I guess can't it be Space Jam without the space part?
Right. Yeah. And it's just jam.
That's just jam. Western Conference Finals jam with Russ.
It's just Earth Jam.
It's just Earth Jam. That's not Earth Jam sucked, so Earth Jam would probably be just as bad.
Right. NBA Jam already exists, so
yeah. All right. Well, I tried. I'm sorry, Shay. I thought it was a great idea. I'd totally watch that movie. Our last question is what is a music, an artist or a genre, something that everyone needs to listen to? Like, what is something that you love that you personally feel that if people don't hear, that they don't experience it, that they're missing?
You're going last, Chaufie. You're going last.
I will go last.
I know how you feel about music. So you're going
first. Mine's really easy.
I'm like, how long is this episode?
Yeah.
You ain't ready for this. Go ahead.
Anything by Maxwell. And you just need one song. He has a falsetto that's unlike anything else out there. And what I love about Maxwell is that when I throw him on, it's normally in the kitchen when I'm doing dishes. Alexa knows that when I say, hey, dishes playlist, Maxwell's the first 3 songs. And he just goes in there and he belts it out. And I'm sitting there doing my thing, doing the dishes, cleaning up the kitchen, being a good husband. And I love every minute of it. And then No Diggity comes on. And at that point in time, it's time for me to be done doing dishes. That's fine.
We don't even get to No Diggity, No Doubt, huh?
Nope. Normally it's like that first like 30-second bar of No Diggity. Then I'm
barely to the hey ya, and then that's it.
That's it. I'm done. So That's
Shawty
me.
get down, good Lord. Love that song.
No doubt.
I would probably say the New Jack Swing era, honestly. Talking about
Mhm.
BBD, Boyz II Men, like that era of music. I think there was something special about it because it wasn't just like, your crooner R&B. There was a little bit of attitude, a little bit of swag in there as well.
Well,
But it
definitely.
was also just, it was just a good time. Bobby Brown and all of his controversy and just the craziness that surrounded like his era of music and what he was trying to do and breaking up New Edition and all of that. I just think there's a lot of music there, a lot of good stories, a lot of just good sounds. It's just a fun time. Good stuff to listen to. And I mean, it's something you can dance to. It's something your kids can listen to, kind of. But it's just good feeling music. It's got like that good kind of like that soul, that swing. It's just good music. And I would say that is something I think everybody should just, listen to a little bit here and there.
Boys to Men. Thank you. Yep. All right, Chauf, what you got for us?
Take it away.
This is a very difficult question to answer. I'm going to preface with this. More than loving video game and probably more than loving my family is my love for music. I live and die for music. Like, it is one of those things that's like, it's always been there. I seek it out on a daily basis to find something new, to appreciate the past, but also embrace like what's new, what's hot with youth culture as well. And so it's not just one thing. First, I think it's more a piece of advice. Embrace music for what it is and don't discredit something you don't like. All kinds of music has its place. I'll give you an example. Like, a lot of people throw shade on like, the current genre of like mumble rap, which really there's very little mumble rap existing, but a lot of current rap is being labeled as that. If you go to a live event and you got a room full of people and 21 Savage is playing, it's going off. Like, the people are feeling the vibe. It's the right place, the right time, the right sound. And so it's like, yeah, it might not be fun in the car, but it's like when you're in the moment and you're hearing the sound, that stuff is fun. And the same thing goes back to what you guys are saying. Like, there is a moment when Boyz II Men Today still hits, when Belle Biv DeVoe still hits. It's about putting yourself, know what you want in that headspace at that time. And so that's kind of like my big piece of advice. Don't say everything's trash and everything's lousy. Like, don't be that type of person. Love what you love, enjoy what you enjoy, but also go into trying stuff that you might not feel. Now, with that said, I'm going to throw out a couple what I feel are essential albums. First essential album is Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet. That album is a blueprint. That album could have come out today and still, politically speaking, stand out and ring true. But also the production on that album, that shows you what a classic, clean, like, it's not Fruity Loops, it's not GarageBand. Like, that took effort just to construct the music before the lyrics got put in there. And then it was a whole campaign behind it. So like, that album is phenomenal. Another album that's a contrast to that is a band, and I actually recommended this band to Donnie the other day. This was a great conversation we had with Donnie too. But there's a band called Granddaddy, and Granddaddy is a band out of Modesto, kind of Bakersfield area near Dev, and they did a great job of mashing all kinds of sounds together. So Donnie says, I'm really into bands that kind of have like a folk sound, and I'm into music that's synth, and I'm into rock, and it was another element. And I said, there's one band who does all of those elements well, and that's Granddaddy. Their album, the Software Slump, is my all-time favorite album because it hits all of those elements together, where some songs are really heartbreaking and some songs are really like, you get pumped up, but it's got a narrative. And I also love a concept album. I love an album that has a narrative through and through, and this one has it. So 2 albums, Fear of a Black Planet, Public Enemy, and then Software Slump by Granddaddy. Those are 2 essentials. Aside from that, embrace hood rap music. That stuff is the best. I still have two 12-inch speakers in the back of my car, so I bump when no one's in there. My wife goes, "Why do you listen to music this loud?" And I'm like, "Because I love it." Same. I just don't deviate too. I'll still listen to like I'm into another like really heavy band called Oozing Wound right now because I still love my heavy like guitar riffs and big drums. So it's just like do what you like. You don't have to go with what's on the radio or what people tell you to enjoy. It kind of really ties back this whole conversation with binge watching the show that you didn't think you were going to like. Because it's like, well, I don't like that because it's not my style. It's not my thing. Because you will surprise yourself when you reach outside your comfort zone and go like, holy smokes, I did not know I was going to be into blank. And once you find that, enjoy it.
So you brought something like a memory to my mind that I don't know if I've thought of for like years. The first non like R&B or hip hop album I ever bought was for a band called the Early November. And they had this EP that was all acoustic. And the only reason I bought it was I was going out with this young lady, and I've always been a big fan of flipping date night. And so what that is, like, you know, I'll plan this one and then next week you plan the next one.
Uh-huh.
And so when it was her turn, she took us to this club, and that was the band that was opening for a band that came after them called Blue October.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And both like when you were talking about, you know, it's really, you know, don't judge something unless you like when you've seen it live and felt the crowd. And I remember like that Early November set, me going, I am having feelings like in my chest, and I have no idea what this man is saying. But all I know is I want to hug his face and say it's going to be okay to him. And then Blue October came on, and that dude sang with like just like a passion that was like unrivaled to anything I'd heard at like live before. And like the way he was singing to the crowd, and like in the middle of one of the songs, like he breaks down crying and his brother takes over. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, is this like made up? Is this a drama? No, like he just gets that into the song.
Yeah.
Like, it just breaks him.
And I can totally validate what you're saying because of when Blue October kind of hit the scene, must have been like late 90s. A friend of mine, she was way into them. And I was like, this is like mall music. Like this is, you know, you hear this when you go into like, you know, Claire's or something like that. So they played locally, like in Ventura, Santa Barbara. And she was like, let's go check them out. I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. I was like, oh, you're artists. Like you truly know how to play your instruments. It was better than the album. And so that's what I'm saying. Like the passion, the heart was there. And I was like, I respect that. Like I got to give it up to you. And it was amazing. I was like, you guys are good.
Yeah, that guy had a set of pipes on him. Like I actually ended up taking my wife. I want to say it was like 8-9 years later, and when he was playing the older stuff, like you would see that passion, and then the newer stuff, the passion wasn't there. Like you could tell, like he wasn't happy. And then they kind of stopped for a minute. But yeah, no, that just reminded me, like it's really easy to dislike something from your phone.
Yes.
You know, it takes a little more effort to actually go out and see it in person and give it a try. So
yeah,
man. All right, Dev, my weight's back. I'm ready. You got anything?
Chaufie was a no.
I was just double checking. Like, I'm always ready for a curveball because I'm always scared, like, with Dev's going to bring something up where, like, I'm going to feel like that when we had the breakup episode and Kevin.
Man, that was.
Like, I'm always nervous. I'm going to get something like, well, this is going to be a tough conversation. So I appreciate when the curveball doesn't show up. It just lets me my day. So, Chauf, tell all the family, all the brothers and sisters that we have listening, the people that we love, who make up the OT universe. Tell them what's going on with you, anything you want to pitch and talk about, and just where they can find you.
Well, so you can find me on Twitter, kind of always giving Dev a hard time because he likes to say wild stuff. At that Chaufie, Chaufie. You can also find me like on PlayStation. That's usually where I hang out. But I do got other stuff, but whatever. They're just like Mo. Xbox doesn't get as much use, just like his PS4 doesn't. But I don't hate on it. I just but you can find me there too as Chaufie. I got a podcast as well called Games We Don't Play, where it's me, my partner Sean, and now regularly we have the homie Delvin Cox joining in with us. Everyone's best friend.
Yeah, we gotta get him on it.
That's the dude, man.
Dude, he was supposed to be on episode 4. Like I went back and looked this up. He was scheduled to be on episode 4. And just life happened, and I have such a heart for him because like when he talks, like what I love about Del is he just lets you know that, hey, here's what's going on, and you're like, oh god, that would have floored me.
Okay, curveball. What's your favorite Delvin Cox memory?
Actually, my favorite comes from when I first was thinking about like doing the podcast PSVG. I got brought on to do, what was it? It would have been a That's Entertaining episode. And I had made a comment. And I was like, yeah, that was horrible. I'm so sorry. I suck so bad. And then he reached out to me and just sent me a message like, dude, you did great. Like you're learning. You just got to work with your, getting a better setup. Cause that was back when I was on the Surface. And so like it would cut out mid podcast every time you did anything because the Surface sucks. God, that's not a good piece of hardware. And he was like, why don't you come do stuff with me? And I was like, dude, yeah, that'd be great. And so we had sat down and worked on it, and I had an idea for what I wanted to try to do. And then I ended up getting Nate pushed me into the PSVG, and I started there. And it wasn't like, oh man, I thought you were going to join me. He was like, hey, I'm really proud of you. Like he has just always been so uplifting. And so the next time I go to Miami, I'm definitely going to be hugging his neck and just letting him know he has been an awesome positive force in me stepping out of sports and into this. So love you, Delph.
Yeah, you need to go, since you guys are in the same state, just like drag him somewhere and put him on the podcast.
Yeah.
Period. Like, just do it.
No.
We need the Delvin Cox experience in the OT. Like, we need to make that happen. Man, my favorite Delvin memory. I mean, we have so many. It's usually on Twitter because we just about all kind of absolute nonsense. So I don't think I have any particular favorite. I think it's literally just being able to interact with him on Twitter. Usually, talking trash about how Chaufie is the worst. He definitely agrees with me on that one. So when you say that I'm talking the wild stuff. No, sir. It's you with the wildness because you're the worst.
It is my favorite pastime too. It brings me joy when I have derailed a Twitter conversation because you see all the interactions stop, and I'm like,
I do it too, but when I do it, I just post in, and Madden, and then no one wants to get into it.
A good one. I love that.
I love it.
What's your favorite movie? Madden.
Madden's always my favorite. It's just what it is. That's what I dream about.
No, but I agree with you. I think my favorite Delvin, because he deserves all the love he gets. What my wife usually listens to the first 20, 30 minutes of my show because we talk about our lives and stuff like that. So she wants to just make sure I'm not talking smack about her because she does get mad because I call her a hater all the time. She is. That's neither here nor there. That's how Puerto Ricans are. She's Puerto Rican, so I could say. But so she was like, that guy you've had on, he's real. Like he comes off like a really nice guy. Is he a nice guy? And I'm like, yeah, like he totally is. He's that dude. Like he's clutch. Like I have a lot of down days. Like I have a lot of days where like I don't feel good. Like I feel miserable pretty much 85% of the time. And so he comes through at the right moment where he will hit me up and he's like, you good? Like, hey, what's going on? Like he's very empowering. He's very uplifting. And he's like the best person I've never met. You know what I mean? Like we don't know like how we know each other. We just know each other through social media and podcasting.
Yep.
But that dude goes out of his way. And I know he doesn't do that just for me. He does that for everybody. And so it's like all the success he's having with this podcast and just, it's all well deserved. And beyond that too, like he deserves a good life. He deserves a happy family. Like he deserves it all because that dude is genuine.
Yeah,
and you can see that in his dialogue. Like when he's joking around on Twitter and stuff like that, he's not hateful. He's not hurtful. He's there to just kind of joke around, and it's perfect, and it fits who he is. So it's just like all love to Delvin Cox. I know this turned into like the Delvin Cox love minute, but that's my dude, man. Like anytime I can shout him out and give him praise, he deserves it.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you for all you do, man.
For sure. Also, he's still alive. Like he didn't die. We're not.
I know. We were just saying like
not a eulogy.
Not a eulogy. We were just saying we love him.
Pour out my coffee right now.
Never pour out coffee.
The podcast.
Like, no, hey, stop. We never pour out coffee. Like, why was that even an option? We don't pour out coffee. Anything else, fine. Like, let's not joke about coffee though. I got really scared for a minute. I was like, what? You're gonna pour what out? Who's getting stabbed?
All right, man.
Ooh, all right. Dev, how about you, man? Where can they find you? What you got going on? You finished the game this month?
I did not. The month's not over with yet. The month is not over with yet.
You're not going to finish it during the week. You got Sunday.
Look here, sir.
You got Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You are work, family, sleep. You're not finishing Spider-Man.
I don't even have Sunday. Anthem. I'm playing the demo, and it's a lot of fun. God. Yeah. So you can find me on Twitter.
Man, it's only January, and I've already finished 5 games. Come on, stop playing.
That's because you play garbage games. You play these little 5-minute games on your Switch. Get out of here with that.
No, like
garbage and Switch. That makes sense.
That
makes sense.
No, I'm kidding. I mean, look,
I'm not.
I understand. You also don't do side mission things, so
that is true. That is true.
You straight mainline things. I'm playing like when Spider-Man. I'm platinuming the game. Like I'm gonna finish it and be done with everything.
Why?
So it takes a little bit longer. I enjoy the side stuff. I want the whole experience.
You're one of those people.
Yeah.
And you can find me at Coach Holt. You can also find us at PSVGOT on Twitter. And I want to shout out our Patreon producer. This is actually a serious one. Our Patreon producer for this episode is Miko Andu. And if you don't know, Miko Andu is the first woman to do a quad axel in a figure skating competition ever. She is the only one in her category. When you look at women who have done this, it's her name and nobody else. Miko, you rock is all I have to say. Thank you for being our producer. We love that about you because you're sticking with us. We're your quad axle meat, and that's awesome. That's good sauce. So with that, family, thank you for listening. I'm not working on anything. Why? Because I have a life that is currently submerged in water, and I have a little straw, and I'm trying to gasp for air. And when I figure stuff out, I probably will play some games. But until then, I'm going to do this show with people I love. I'm going to tell stories, and we love you. Thank you, family. And that's game over.
This has been a PSVG production. Any music, sound effects, or the like is owned by their respective copyright holders. No infringement is intended. The views expressed in this production are those of the individual contributor and may not necessarily reflect PSVG. This production may not be repurposed, reused, or redistributed without the express written consent of PSVG. PSVG is powered by patrons at patreon.com/PSVG. Become a patron to get special perks, including access to exclusive content.